Welcome back. Today we're bringing the best of late night to daytime, and we're talking with people behind the late night shows we love. With me now is the one and only Seth Meyers. Your backstory is phenomenal for many reasons, but when you were growing up, I read in an interview you talked about it in New Hampshire, you finding your way to jokes was an interesting journey for you.
Well, I mean, I think I had a very funny father. Yeah. My mom continues to laugh at everything he said, and my mom is way too good looking for my dad. And so at a very young age, my brother and I were like, all right, this seems to be a path to their hearts. I was not a front of the class jokester. Yeah. That's me and my brother right there. And based on, you can tell why I wasn't an athlete. You're not supposed to keep your shoulders that high.
Shrink down.
I was sort of a back of the class jokester. I was not sort of front of the class wanting everyone's attention. I was more the person who made a wry comment about the person who wanted everyone's attention, and sort of found my way. Sort of took the back roads to being on stage.
You know, we talk about here, everyone can go to the end of the story, meaning this great show, 9 seasons in, and the Emmys and accolades, but the pages that it takes to get here are always so intriguing. You talked to Van Jones on CNN about mental health and depression, and you said something about imposter syndrome. You said, I think we'd be better off if more successful people were honest and shared the fact that depression is something that chases you no matter what your status is.
Yeah, I mean, I think also sometimes what brought on the worst period of my life was right when I got on SNL, and I thought that, oh, I've reached, the pinnacle, and then realizing, oh, they might have made a terrible mistake. And then getting through those first few years of, feeling like I was holding on for dear life to this thing that I wanted more than anything, and realizing how I would feel if it had gone away, or worrying about how I'd feel when it went away.
Is it still there? Is the imposter syndrome still there at all?
It's, I will say less. I do feel one of the things that's really helpful is when you get grounded. For me, being grounded with my family has been very helpful, because that all of a sudden becomes the most important thing in your life and takes the pressure off things like
I agree.
Show.
I would hear people say that. I became a mom at 48. We were just talking about kid advice, and I have a pandemic baby, and Seth is giving me advice on what to do. But I didn't understand that until I had my son, and then there would be these big moments that happened with the show, and then I'd go home and I'd say, well, and my mom said, isn't that nice you have this to think about?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Because I cannot stress enough how little my kids care about my show.
Really?
Well, it's not like I ever walk home and they say, oh, we watched last night. Yay.
That joke was not great.
Yeah, who was that for? Yeah.
But at some point, your oldest is how old?
He's about to be 6, yeah.
6. Okay, at 10, he'll have an iPhone. He'll be like, you were trending last night, Dad.
Well, the funniest thing is
Look at that.
That's the comedian right there. But I've done a few things with Muppets over the years, and so I'll show them me and the Count, for example, on YouTube. Like, Daddy Met the Count. I feel like that's
good. That's a big deal.
And then I show it to them, and they watch, and they'll say, is there anything with just the Count? Because I think it just takes them out of it.
Right, they're like, you're ruining this.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you know this, Dad, but like Sesame Street to us is like a magical place, and we don't want to also have you there.
I don't like when people say me too, but I did with Elmo, and my son stopped liking Elmo. I said, look, Mommy's with Elmo. Yeah. And there was like a 6-month period where he's like, you can have him. He's yours. And now he owns him back, but it was scary.
Our best Elmo is, we have friends who work at Sesame Street, and when Axel was born, so Ash was 2. Elmo recorded a video saying, congratulations, you're going to be a big brother. And his reaction was very much like, why does Elmo know so much about me? Like, he was very much like, something... Elmo has been, like, eavesdropping on our conversation, but it turns out like a red monster being like, hey! He's like, whoa, why? Who told you my name?
Who told you my name?
Yeah.
Up next, how Seth's children inspired him to write the book about facing fears after the break. Welcome back. I'm all leaned in. We're with Seth Meyers talking about his adorable book, I'm Not Scared, You Are. The kids in your life, your children, Axel, Ash, Adelaide,
yep,
and your wife is
Alexi.
Yep. So you beat the Kardashians because Chris has, I don't know how many with the K.
Yeah,
What happened?
I think she's got 3 with the K, right?
Three with the K. So
yeah.
you were a trendsetter.
We are the new Kardashians. If there's, I mean, I you know, obviously we're gonna give them their time to, you know, have their.
Breaking news. Look
So
at
this is, I want to, this photo, so Ash, the big one, he actually was sick, and that was a bowl in case he needed to throw up. And this one was pretending to be sick.
Oh,
And you can tell he's not because he's wearing the bowl as a hat.
take me to that moment. Oh,
And
look at
there's-
that.
There's the new one.
Look
There's
how
Addie.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's
when
pretty
you're
good.
Sandwiched in the bed like that with
Yeah.
all 3 of them. Give me the word that comes to mind.
Exhausted. No, but no, it is really, it's joyful exhaustion, right? That was 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And both kids are up, and we're so tired, and yet we can't stop. You're trying not to laugh out loud because you don't want to reward them.
Yeah.
But, you know, Axel, we said, Axel, you're not sick. And he said, I don't want to miss the party. And we said, it's not a party. And he's like, everybody's up, you're talking. And we're like, well, it might be a party. He might be right.
Well,
so it's just joyous.
I read this to Moses last night. Your book is so adorable, Facing Fears and the Balance. I mean, sometimes fear is healthy, and then other times you've got to charge in, which is such a great story here. I said to Seth, we go to bed with him. How about a bedtime story for us? And you happen to have your own book. Would you read a little bit of it?
Yeah, because I think this is a good time. Now...
I told Seth this was my corny idea, so if he didn't like it, he still had to go with it.
I'm just worried that everyone will, because it's a bedtime story, is going to fall asleep in the middle of the day.
No, they won't do that.
Just try very hard. Hopefully
Okay.
you're well caffeinated. What's the best way to do this, guys? Is that, should I do it that way? Okay, great, there you go. One day, this is the middle of the book, so if you're like, what's going on? Well, you're adults. I think you'll follow. One day, Rabbit made an announcement, Bear, we are going on an adventure. Bear suggested that instead of going on an adventure, they could read a book about adventures. That way, if anything goes wrong, we can just close the book. Rabbit looked at her friend and asked, Bear, are you scared? And Bear replied, I'm not scared, you're scared. And with that, Bear walked past Rabbit and out the front door. Bear stopped to make sure they had everything they needed. Do I need a bike helmet? Bear asked. No, said Rabbit. Do I need oven mitts? No, said Rabbit. Do I need bear repellent spray? You're a bear, said Rabbit. And then, guys, I'm going to leave you with that cliffhanger.
That's a cliffhanger. Thank you.
In case you're worried.
To read more, check out Seth's children's book, I'm Not Scared, You're Scared, available now. And everyone in the audience is getting a copy to share with someone in their life.
Books for all!
It's a party. It's not a car, but it's an awesome book to read. Thank you, Seth,
Thank you
for
so much.
joining us.
It's great to be here.
And look who's here.
Oh, no! You made a terrible mistake!
It's a party. Up next, more late night meets daytime when we sit down with Amber Ruffin. Bye-bye,
all right,
Seth.
I'll go.
Yeah.